It has emerged that the masked security operatives who were deployed during the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election in the Greater Accra region were a part of the National Police SWAT unit.
The National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, revealed this at the first sitting of the Emil Short Commission of Inquiry investigating the violence. City News' Eugenia Tinkrang has more.
The Commission of Inquiry was set up by the President days after the by-election violence, which left at least one person with a gunshot injury. It has as part of its terms of reference a responsibility to make a full and impartial inquiry into the circumstances and events associated with the violence. It is also to identify any person or persons involved in the violence and provide recommendations and sanctions, if any. Taking his turn at the first day of hearing, the Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, said 60 members of the SWAT unit, including 35 national security operatives, were deployed on the day of the election. There were concerns from members of the public about their choice of attire and appearance, but Kandapa said there was nothing extraordinary about their hoods and masks. He also claimed that the national security operatives with the SWAT team were not armed except the police officers. Also taking his turn before the commission was the Minister of State at the National Security, Brian Agyapong.
My Director of Operations tells me that they have deployed men. I am part of it. But I did not give the order that they should, and that is why I use the word we have.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP David Asante Apietu, has called on the two main political parties, NDC and NPP, to denounce their vigilante groups as the police service declares a national action against vigilantism. The activities of political vigilante groups have been widely criticized by the public following the violence recorded during the by-election in the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. The IGP, who was speaking at a press conference today to address a wide range of issues on the country's security situation, said these groups pose a threat to national security. There is more in this report filed by City News' Anas Seidu.
Today's press encounter was meant to inform the media and the public on the current security situation of the country. Some critical security issues that were addressed included the spate of political vigilantism, activities of land guards, murder and kidnappings. In the company of the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Obet Akwa, the Police Management Board, as well as regional police commanders, the Inspector General of Police, David Asante Apietu, admonished various political parties to denounce their vigilante groups. He described these groups as illegal and a threat to the country's security.
We want to appeal to all political parties to immediately denounce their own vigilante groups.
On the surge in the activities of land guards within the Greater Accra region, Police Commander for the Accra region DCOP Patrick Edise Sapon said the command wasn't aware of the operations of land guards within the Oyibi and Adenta areas. He, however, indicated the command will quickly follow up on the matter to save life and property.
The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has ordered candy manufacturing company Royal Sweets at Akwiteman in Accra to cease all operations with immediate effect. This follows a report by City News detailing the release of fumes into the atmosphere.
Residents there threatened to push for a shutdown of the company in a City News interview, saying several calls for a safer control of the fumes had proved futile. City News' Caleb Kuda has more.
The enforcement or cessation notice served on Royal Sweets Limited by the Environmental Protection Agency reveals that Royal Sweets flouted some rules of the Environmental Protection Agency. Meanwhile, in an earlier interview with City News, Municipal Chief Executive Officer Boy Lai said he set up a committee to look into the matter within 2 weeks.
Parliament has voted to reprimand Assin Central MP Kennedy Agyapong after he was found guilty of contempt of the House. This follows his apology to Parliament for a comment he made to the effect that Parliament is cheap. City News' Duke Menso Poku has more.
Chairman of the Privileges Committee, Joseph Oseuso, in presenting the report of the committee to the House, indicated that the Asin Central MP Kennedy Agyapong had been found guilty of parliamentary contempt and described the sanctions for him thereof.
The matter in the light of the totality of the evidence gathered and in accordance with provisions of the Constitution. The standing orders and other relevant enactments concluded that the Honourable Member for Asin Central, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, is indeed in contempt of Parliament for the remarks he made that Parliament has become cheap and Parliament is useless. Accordingly, the committee recommends to the House to adopt this report and sanction the Honourable Kennedy Agyapong by either suspending him for the rest of this session or reprimand him.
Upon resuming from the suspension, the House voted to adopt the report, and then the contemnor, Kennedy Agyapong, was asked to apologize to the House.
I did apologize. If I say Parliament has been cheapened and is misconstrued as cheap, whether cheapened or cheap, I still apologize.
The apology of our colleague is into consideration in deciding whether it should be reprimanded or suspended.
Given two options, Parliament has decided to reprimand their colleague, Asin Central MP, for the contemptuous comments he made. This reprimand has been interpreted as apology, then go and sin no more.
Family of a woman who was allegedly beaten to death by her husband is demanding justice for her after accusing the police of shielding the main suspect.
Belinda Aduna died on Monday, 21st January, after she was allegedly beaten by her husband, Maoli Ama. Maoli has since been arrested by the Adenta police.